So here I'm in San Francisco speaking with Simon from Y Combinator. Simon,
Great to meet you.
nice to meet you, man. So,
Hi.
tell me a bit about yourself, and then I'm going to ask you two questions, okay?
Absolutely. So I've been in the software engineering industry for a lot of years. I've worked at Facebook. I worked at Google for a few years. I ended up in the startup ecosystem, and now I'm not running a startup. I'm not a founder, but I work at Y Combinator as a software engineer on a team that helps support startups. So we help support both the existing batch and the alum.
Okay, cool. Can you tell me what is the biggest difference between European startups and US startups that apply to YC?
Yeah, so I tend to think like one way to look at it is TAM, right? So the TAM in Europe, even though Europe is like a really large sort of geographic region and population worldwide, the TAM in the US is usually much larger, right? So generally what I see is like folks that are solving like really small problems in the EU, they either can expand what they're trying to solve to a much larger audience in the US, or they need to kind of like shift to something that has like a really large TAM in the US, right? Or worldwide, right?
Okay, cool. And what is your advice for like European founders trying to break to the US market?
So I think the most important thing is to like know your audience and know your potential customers, right? So if you're looking for customers within the US, I think like the decision-making process by which folks in the US, like consumers in the US or businesses in the US make decisions is vastly different, right? So we have a lot more folks that are like, so in the EU, a lot of it is like, red tape or regulatory and privacy sort of hoops they need to jump through. And then when you come to the US, you realize that a lot of that is something you don't have to think about, right? Like, sure, we have regulatory stuff that you need to, jump through, but like effectively people are like, can you solve my problem? Right? Like a super large company will sign a contract with like a little tiny startup that can like solve a very important problem for them without asking them to go through like an enormous amount of like, regulatory nonsense, if that kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah. Sure. Thank you, Simon. It was nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, no, it's great to meet you. Sure.